everybody give me just a second. I'm starting. I'm going to do some tweeting. And we'll get going. All right. So, hey everybody, Brandon here. Hope that y'all are having a great day, great Tuesday, good week. Hopefully, for those of y'all got a chance to take a long weekend, made the most of it. I know I did. Spent a little bit of time outside, so it finally cooled off a bit around here. So it's been really nice. So today, we're going to actually have some fun with some software hacking. With Particle. So my goal for today is to start working on an online, a registry for Particle Firmware libraries. So if you haven't worked with them before with Particle devices, there are a ton of options with firmware libraries where you can jump in and create a library that works with a NeoPixel strip like I have on the wall back there behind me. Yay, yay, yay. Or you can do stuff with any other Adafruit devices with feather wings. Really, the sky's the limit. If you got a piece of hardware or a sensor, something that's relatively common, firmware libraries are the way that you can very easily add those into your applications. And there's a couple of different ways to add those today. One of the ways that you could do so is to use the Particle CLI, right? So you can actually do Particle in the CLI, Particle libraries, search, and I'll just search for Adafruit, and I should get a whole lot of stuff back. And so you'll see a couple of different examples of different libraries that you can use. So DHT sensor, graphics library, the ST7735 display. You get the idea. So one of the ways you can actually pull in libraries is using the CLI. You can also pull in libraries inside of a Particle account. But what there's not today out of the box is the ability to view a registry sort of like Npm, where you can pull in libraries and even potentially rate them, search them, etc. So that's what I'm going to start working on today. I'm going to build the app using Vue and Nuxt. If you haven't seen Nuxt, hopefully if you're watching this, you're familiar with Vuejs, a front-end development framework a la similar to React or Angular. In many ways, it's one that I've been using a little bit over the last year or so. And Nuxt is a Vuejs framework for building single-page apps, for creating static sites, for creating server-side rendered apps as well. And it's a pretty good API, some good plugin models, and haven't messed with it too much before, but I'm actually going to start working with it today. And before I forget, if you are joining and you're checking out sort of changed my desktop a little bit, there's a little countdown on the right-hand side of me here. I probably hopefully I won't regret this, but I did make the claim last week based on the prompt from a friend and former coworker, Todd Anglin. Hey Joe, what's up? Welcome. That if I reached 100 followers by March 1st on Twitch, or 100, not subscribers, but followers, that I would dye my hair cyan blue. So that's the countdown here on the right. It's off a little bit. We're at 34 now. I guess it may take a little while to update, but feel free if you're just here for the first time and you're interested in seeing this hair turn blue, definitely give me a follow. But that's what we're going to do today. So we're actually going to do some library stuff in Nuxt. I'm going to show off a few things, but really one of the first things that I got to do is create a new Particle account, because we're going to be doing some stuff here inside of Twitch. I'm going to create a Particle account that I can use separate from my main Particle account, separate from other places that I use. So I'll walk through that process really quickly. And I'll do that with my, let's see, bsatrum. This will be the email account that I use for all or the Particle account that I use for all Twitch stuff. So Brandon Satram. And I'm just going to open up 1Password real quick. You won't be able to see it. Yeah, over there. I have my trusty password generator give me something new here. So, let's see, new login. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. All right, I'm going to enter that password now. This is a personal account. And yes, I agree to the wonderful terms of service. So sign up. Already have it saved. So do that. Okay. So I have a new account. This is going to be my Twitch specific Particle account. Don't have any devices here, and really for the purposes of what we're doing for the next hour or so on this stream, I am not going to worry about having individual devices. I'm going to open up build for a couple of things. I mentioned earlier there's another way to pull in libraries. You can pull in libraries using the library tab in the browser as well. So you can search for libraries. A lot of common libraries are available here for the MakerKit, NeoPixels, Blink, Ubidots, etc. There's a whole bunch here. You can scroll through one at a time if you want, or if you're looking for a specific temperature sensor library, like something for a DHT sensor, there's a bunch of different options here. Official Adafruit one. There's a PieTech, really popular one as well. So you can get all those. But again, as I mentioned, there's not a registry that's publicly available, so I want to create that, and I can do so actually using the Particle Device Cloud API. So it's actually pretty easy to do that. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll show that off very briefly. And so I'm going to go into the docs, look at reference, and I'm going to look at the Device OS API. For cloud functions, no, not the Device OS API. I need to look at the Device Cloud API. There we go. It has what I need. So if you're working with the Device Cloud API, HTTPS API.particle.io, V1 is the version that you need. And we can actually mess with some of this via curl. So I installed this Npm library that I saw yesterday called FX. I wanted to mess with this today because it's actually a terminal-based JSON viewer. So there's pretty printing of JSON in other NPM libraries, but this is actually one that seems to allow you to do some formatting, highlighting, processing, things like that, and it does accept curl commands. So I can do that. So I'm going to do that here in a minute. But first, let's actually get a simple... We'll go into the actual API itself. So there is a endpoint for pulling libraries from the API. Just get V1 libraries, right? Let's see an example of this, right? And you can change, there's a few things that you can do. You can pull in all, you can pull in official libraries, public. If you've contributed libraries, you can view just the ones that you've created as well. And then private libraries that belong to you that you haven't actually published yet. So there's a lot that we can do that's already based in the API here. You can actually also specify libraries that are only supported by a certain set of architectures, like only libraries that are on the Photon, or only libraries that are supported in the new 3rd gen mesh hardware as well. So again, a lot of options that you can get here. So I'm going to do a curl command, and let me type this out. Curl HTTPS API.particle.io V1. Hold on. Hold up. Oh, nope. That's not. Yeah. Okay. start that over. Okay. All right, not VI. I would never be able to exit my curl command if it was VI. Har. Libraries. And so it's not an insane. Right? No, that must be a curl thing. So scope equals, I'm gonna do official just so I get it correctly. Looks like there's a sort command as well, which is nice. I didn't see that here. Oh yeah. So you can sort based on name, installs, popularity, published, etc. You know, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna sort based on last updated. Why not? And then of course I need my access token. The reason why I created my own special, let me open up my, a little bit bigger. The reason why I created a Twitch specific account. If you've created a Particle account, you need your access token. You can get it via the CLI. There's also an easy way to get it inside of the build.particle.io console. You have an access token that's created. You can see it here. I will show you the secret for now because this is a dummy account. And also, I'm going to reset the token as soon as the stream is over. But you get the idea. So I'm pulling this token now. And yay, there we go. Okay, so I got my command to work. But I'm going to pipe this into FX. Let's see what I get. See what kind of fun stuff I get here. Oh, sweet. All right, now I'm just nerding out here. This library is awesome. Go check this out. I'm going to put this in the stream. Anton Medv FX is pretty sweet. I'm going to add that in there. So, I got my thing. I got to fix that blue in my theme so that it comes up as a different color. Do I dare mess with iTerm right now? Maybe I shouldn't. Let's see, which color is that? Does it show me his links are blue? No, that's not it. Text. All right. What should I do instead? I don't know. Great. I don't even know if that's that. One Kev Griff. Hey, thanks for the follow, man. I hope you are doing well. All right. Let me try this again. It's probably not going to blah, blah, blah. I'll fix it later. What's cool is when you actually hover over the ellipsis here, I can expand this out and see everything that comes in that payload, which is pretty sweet. So what did I end up sorting by? I don't remember. I think I sorted by most recently updated. So the asset tracker library is updated. This is just scoped to the official Relay Shield, Power Shield, Maker Kit, Internet Button library. It shows me some links, some attributes. The attributes is sort of where the meat of the information is here. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Good luck for my hair. That's yeah, we'll see. I can't highlight it. All right. But I can see sort of the number of installs, the license, author, basic information about where the repository is located, all that good stuff. And this is ultimately what I want to use. These endpoints are ultimately what I want to use to see what's going on. So, send that again. So given that, I don't have to just call that API directly. Like what I could do. Oh, sweet. All right, I'm gonna give you a follow here when I'm done. I'm gonna open up and remind myself of that. Yeah, it was probably a little bit silly for me to put my hair on the line, but I mean it's not permanent, right? So not too terribly crazy at the moment. But we'll see. But yeah, man, I will trade a follow. Cool to see what you're working on. So, given that, hey, Sensajo02, how are you? Welcome. Welcome. So I have my listing of libraries. I have the API endpoints that I need. I have some documentation in the Particle docs here, so I sort of know what I need in order to get that listing of libraries. And now the fun part is creating that single registry. So my goals for today are going to be relatively modest, given that we're already 15 minutes in. That's okay. I did already create that new Particle account. We sort of explored the libraries a little bit via this wonderful new tool, FX, which I highly recommend everyone check out. Let me see what would happen real quick if I go and change my curl a little bit to change the scope to what other scope things can I do? Official to, is it gonna like blow up? So this is all. It's just giving me sort of the first couple. So I get a random collection, Firebase, a co-app library, Spark Time. And again, this is sorted by the most recently updated. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. All right. Question. Since the J02, I have a question because I want to start streaming, but I don't know if it's possible with a MacBook. So you were streaming the MacBook and it's good. Yeah. So great question. You came at the right time because it is possible with a MacBook. I know that for people that have been streaming for a long time, people that are serious, like if you're streaming and doing gaming, this may be a little bit different. For me, through experimentation, what I figured out relatively quickly was get these settings right for encoding. I did end up wiring my MacBook up to Ethernet here in my office to just make absolutely certain that there's nothing between me and what's getting uploaded, and make sure you've got a really good upload speed. And then if you're using a tool like OBS, which is open source and free, highly recommend, you want to check out, test your settings, use Twitch Inspector to test things out. Things seem to be going pretty well for me today. 17 minutes stable, which is good. I've had a few previous streams where there's been a few issues here and there. I tried not to go to 60 frames per second. I think now I'm doing like 720p at 30 frames per second, which I think seems to be working pretty well. I haven't had any dropped frames today, so I'll be relatively modest here. I'm not streaming any 60 FPS games or anything like that. So still a little advice from me, and I'll share some links later on a few of the resources that I checked out because it's fun, but it's definitely a lot of work to get the right balance of things set up at the start. So we have a new account. I have shown off a little bit of the API, the library endpoint, and what we're going to do next is we're going to create a simple Vue and Nuxt project, and then we're going to start today with a list page that will call the library's endpoint and pull in libraries on a nice little list page. So a few things I'm going to do. I mentioned earlier I'm going to use Nuxt, which is a nice little Vuejs-based framework. I am going to use tachyons for CSS. Simple. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for asking. And feel free to send me a personal message, too, if you have any other follow-up questions or anything. And I don't know if that's what those are called on Twitch, but whatever it might be. And then the final piece I'm going to use is the Particle JavaScript API. So I showed off just running curl commands against the device cloud API directly. You can do that using Axios, but Particle actually has a JavaScript API that is really easy to use, and so that's what we're gonna mess with today, setting that up. So, given all that, we have a Particle account created. Let's actually start the app. So I'm gonna exit out of here, And I'm going to go to my development directory. No, I'm just going to go to my development directory. And I'm going to do npx, which is executing an npm package without installing it locally. The view CLI init, and I'm going to pull in the Nuxt community starter template, and we're going to call this particle libraries. Did I spell everything all right? I very well might have. It's going to take a moment to install. Okay. More than a moment. Once that's done, I am going to open up Visual Studio Code inside of that directory. Do an npm install and go off to the races. It's a good time to get a drink of water. Accept the defaults. I'm going to call it Registry for Particle Firmware Libraries. Author. Use my particle Satorm. You know, I'm having a great typing day when I cannot even type my own name correctly. So get excited, y'all. All right, generated. Cool. I'm going to CD into particle libraries. All right. Open up Visual Studio Code here. Expand the window a bit. All right. So I am in my new project. You see everything that Nuxt has created, from components directory, layouts, middleware, pages, plugins, really all over the place. A whole lot of stuff in there. And I have an ESLint-RC, git ignore, and then Nuxt config.js is important as well. And I'll do a little bit of that in a second. But the first thing I want to do is actually open up a terminal window. Open new terminal. Oh, that's not the command that I want. There we go. Wrong command. And let me make this larger here, since my head is currently over the command. And I am going to, now that I'm inside here, the next step is to npm install. That's going to add all the good stuff. And let me open up a browser here as well. While we're doing that, to go to localhost 3000, which doesn't do anything right now, but it will in just a moment. All right. Still installing. So I'm off screen in another tab, and I'm following Kevin. If you're still watching Kevin, I just followed you back. Awesome, man. Maybe I should be pulling up memes about running npm install while I'm doing this, instead of just sitting here staring at it. So I'll map out very quickly. What I'm going to end up doing next is, after this is done, I'll run the default site. I'm going to change the default layouts, add a simple div, and then I'll go in and actually add tachyons. I'll show sort of the process of adding a CSS library. And then I'll actually add the Particle JavaScript API we'll pull it in via npm and sort of go through the docs to start looking at what we can do. Pull it in npm, and then I'm actually going to go through the process of working through the creating a plugin in a Vuex store for holding the library references when I load the site, to sort of do that first load. So some of this with Nux is going to be a little bit of trial and error for me. We'll figure it out together, which will be good fun. All right. And then, of course, when I'm done today, I'm going to get all this committed up to GitHub like a responsible citizen. All right. So now npm run dev, nom run dev. All right, so you get an idea. Let me bring this up a little bit. Server is running. It's doing its thing. So far, so good. And then when I am completely done running all that, I should have a nice little localhost server ready to go. All right, there we go. Localhost 3000. It's good. Okay, look at that. Little animated logo and everything. Happy. So we have made some progress. A few things we're going to do, however, to just mess all this business up. Here, I'm going to change my screen size here a little bit. I'm going to bring this over. Yep. Okay. So now I am going to open up Layouts Default View, and I am just going to delete it. It's going to mess up everything, but we'll come in later and fix some of that stuff. There we go. It recovered. And then I am going to go into Pages Index View. I'm going to take all of this out, and I'm going to do a new template. Template, div, and hello. Particle. Oop. There we go. All right, so now I have taken that very nice little template and I have replaced it with just nasty text on the screen. Yep, we're going to add a little bit of CSS now. We're going to actually do add a CSS library here in Nuxt. So let me go back into my terminal. And Oh, I'll do that. Now I'm going to do npm I tachyons and tachyons debug. So as we'll install those, it'll add them both to my package JSON. And then once that is done, I will add some new CSS. Actually, I'm going to also add that to my Nuxt config. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. Add some things into my div. So let's do that. There we go. Okay. The installation is done. So now in my Nuxt config, I can add that. Let's see. I'm going to add that above the build configuration. CSS. What's the command for this? I think that's right. Tachyons, CSS. Since I've added this, this is in a directory tachyon. min.css. See if that blows up on me. Oh wait, we need to npm run dev. So cool. All right. Client and server doing their thing. I remember to. All right. I got a good report from the terminal. Make a note for future reference. Let's see if I can either like split the terminal instead of. Oh, that's not gonna. No. Splitting the terminal did not help. That did nothing for me. So, new terminal. So we just maximize the panel when I'm doing stuff. So npm run dev because I killed it accidentally. So let's try this again. And once I get the A-OK from Nuxt, I will refresh. It's not really going to do anything. Yeah. Got that. The old address error. Makes me feel like I need to shut down code. Start again. All right, make sure that gets cleared out. That's a bummer. Mainly because I did it to myself, but you know, it's all right. We're back in business. Panel opening. Terminal doing its thing. Npm run dev. All right. Cool. Okay. Files generated, and we should be off to the races here in a second. So my next step is I'm going to add a class into my, just so we can actually see that tachyons has been added. I'm going to add a quick class into my div to show what's happening. And then we'll move on to the next step. All right. Good report. Refresh. Still happy there. I'm going to go into my index view and to my div class F1 to make it large and code. Should build quickly, and there we go. I get tachyons is good to go. Of course, I can verify in the dev tools. Check the individual item. F1's font size is 3 rems. Code family changes to consolus. Gives me a nice little monospace look there. Great. So now the next step, now that I've done that, is actually to work through adding a plugin. So in this case, I'm going to pull in the Particle API JS npm library. So this is my command npm I Particle API JS. So npm I Particle API JS. Go up top here so you can see it. See it installing. All right. And then once that's installed, I am going to create a plugin basically for and this is the piece that's a little bit new to me, but hopefully we'll figure it out pretty quickly. I'm going to add a plugin so that I can access the JavaScript API from everywhere in my app. For now, it's just going to be the single page or the single screen, but we'll end up using that in a few places. We create like a list page, details page, all that good stuff. So now let's do npm run dev. Pull the terminal down. And while I am waiting, I'm going to go into the plugins directory. Actually, first thing I'm going to go to nuxt-config.js, and I'm actually going to add, under build, I'm going to add a vendor. And we're going to call this Particle API JS. Forget my comma there. All right. Okay. Add Particle API JS, and now I'm going to add my plugin. Excuse me. Plugin. We're going to call it particle.js. Why not? Why not? Still getting over a cold here. Let's see. Okay, So now I'm going to do my import like usual. So we're going to call it particle. Let me check the docs here on this. Right, if I have done this. Import particle from Particle API.js. So now what I want to do here, because this is a plugin, is I'm going to save myself a little bit of a basically to sort of go through the login piece when I create a new object, or I'm going to, I guess, maybe specify my token. Trying to think of the best way to do this using a plugin. So use the token from login. I don't want to do that. I want to add secret that represents the token. Right, so the right way to do this, or at least the way I've done this in the past, is that, no, not from there. Is that from the root, I'd create a library. Right. Created .env file, and we will call this particle token, and I will grab my token from here. Again, dummy account used just for these purposes. Still want to be relatively safe about it. So I have my token set in secrets. What I'll usually do too is set a, before I forget, make sure that's in get ignore. Keep my .env files out of get. Create another file called .env.example. So if anybody's grabbing this, you get an idea for what it expects. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So I have an environment variable. Guess what I'm not sure of is doing secrets in Nuxtjs. So let's do a search on that. Because I don't want to hard code this. I know that it'll work. I know that I could probably take it out later. But it looks like Nuxt has a way to deal with this. So, okay, there's a way to do base URLs. That's nice. But what about secrets? Process.env. So is that going to pull automatic injection? There we go. If you define environment variable starting with nuxt_env in the build phase, but you have to do like nuxt.env build. All right, I don't feel like I'm there just yet. Here we go. Injecting environment variables is ultimately what I'm looking for. Wait, what? Environment variables nuxt.env. Changing my. I mean, .env module would work. I suppose that's ultimately what I probably need to use. A Nuxt module that loads your env file into your context options. Okay, that's ultimately what I want, is to get those secrets in. Okay. All right, so I mean, I think ultimately that's what I. Project. Yeah, that's, yeah. Here we go. Okay. Well, no time like the present. Let's just try this out. And let's just do, what's this? Npm I. .env. Okay. So I'll add that. And once I have done that, it's a matter of just adding Nuxtjs.env to modules of my Nuxt config. So let's find the module spot here. I don't think I have that yet. That's okay. We'll create one. Modules. Is that right? Modules. Nuxtjs.env. So now that I've added that, should we do npm run dev again? It is loading, it's loading. Server's good, client's doing its thing, okay. All right, so assuming that that was all I needed to do, I should now be able to make my call back over here in my plugin. This is the whole reason that I was here, was actually getting that token. We'll see, we may end up having to come back to that, but I feel pretty good about it. I feel like it might actually work. So, logging in. I'm not gonna log in because I'm just gonna pass a token. I don't want to. I'll just pass the token with each one of the calls. I will, however, in my export, just do export default. So we create const particle new particle. So we're going to do export default particle. So that is ready to go. Okay. So that should be all I need to do to then go through calling this API directly, right? So this is login, but for instance, if I was working with list libraries. Right. If I wanted to list firmware libraries, that command should work. It's just going to be a matter of me then including the plugin in my Vue app and then calling list libraries. So the way that works. Oh wait, you know what I should do here too. Might as well. Well, that's not really going to make any difference. Is that like a default payload? Whatever. We can worry about that later. In here, I'm going to add a script block. And I'm going to do import particle from tilde plugins particle. Make sure. Ooh, does not like that. Yeah. What? Assignment. Make sure this is an actual assignment statement. Fix the error. Fix the error. Hey, all right. Okay. Not quite there yet. Hold on. Particle from particle. Did my import. And now do export default. And the async data. Data object to return particle dot list libraries. Is that what it was? Particle dot list libraries. That's it. Page number, page index. Can send in an options object. Let's do some of that. So create a quick options object and we will say limit. Let's just do 5. 10. Change your mind right as I was typing. And scope. Yeah, let's just do 5. Scope official. Great. So the way that this will work is particle.listLibraries. This returns a promise. So then I can say then res equals nope. And I will say libraries dot data. So that is my list of libraries. It should be I'm getting some unhappiness. Oops. Boom. Wait, what? Oh, wait. There we go. Now we're happy. Okay. So, assuming that this all worked, I'm not getting any errors. Well, except I'm getting an error here. In the bundle. Options render. Oh, duh. Well, I mean, excuse me. I also have to pass in a token. Right. should be correct. Process ends.particle token. We're going to find out pretty quick whether or not that's correct. Pretty quick. So let me do the last piece, and then we'll start debugging and figuring out what I've done wrong. The last piece here is going to be to replace this with a ULLI. And for my LI v4, that's going to be for library. In libraries. And I will do a key of library. All right, let's see what comes back in the payload. Go back and look at this. Where's my curl command? For an individual library. ID. Okay. Fine. Cannot type today. Stick around. You hear that one a lot. All right. So I've got that. I will do libraries. Just ID, just to make sure that's working. Or library, excuse me. .id. Okay. I got a serious bundle error. It's a module thing. Okay, so I did something wrong, even loading the module in the first place. Right, like I bet if I comment this out, it's not even going to care. Long load. So my Nux config reloaded. So access token was not found. Right. So that's the error that I'm kind of less concerned about getting that error. So I did something wrong with loading up the .env module. Let's see if there's some helpful code in here. Not in the tests. See if I can find some reference here to help me figure out where, if I got maybe a syntax error or something in how the modules are supposed to be included. Okay, modules. I mean, I have that added, don't I? Nuxtjs.env. It is properly installed. Nothing there was incorrect. Maybe I did something wrong by not refreshing. I don't know. Simply run your usual dev, the variable inside the end file will be added to the context and process.env. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm hoping to see here. And yet, it barfs. Now this told me again, the access token was not found. Okay, so this may be an error in how I'm using network. Let's reload here. Where's my call? Okay, it seems to have built the URL correctly. API.particle.io. That's v1 libraries. Scope official. Let's take this over here and do a little bit of curling. Curl. Scope official. Right, so this will give me the same error. Access token was not found. Invalid request. Great. If crud. Get my token back over here. The access token was not found. Y'all see that? Aha! Access underscore token. So I may have read the options wrong. Yeah, that worked. That's what I wanted. 5 official libraries. All right. Possibly the issue is here. Close this down. I think I may have read the docs incorrectly. Options.auth string access token. No. Hold on. Auth token. David, hey. Thank you for the trash panda. Always. All right. Yeah, I am near to a breakthrough here. Auth, process, and particle token. Let's just... Why not? Be silly here. Print the token out here also. Div. Oh yeah, it's gonna give me an error. Gotta wrap this whole thing in a div. Div. Okay, div. And find my token. All right. Of course. let's not do that async data piece. Take this out, find out what's going on with my token. Why I'm not getting it. Because I'm about to get lazy. Wait, what? Yeah. Nope, don't do that. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Trying to figure out where my token is. Once I get this, this will be easy. Just trying to see if it's actually getting loaded. It's important. Like I said, I can hard code this, and I might here in a second if this whole thing just borks on me. But right now, I'm trying to prevent hard coding secrets. Do not like. Okay. I have no token. Arg. Okay. I'm getting process.env. So now I think what I'm gonna do is just console log this out so I can see what's going on. Okay. Not happy about this. I'm gonna hard code just to see if it's working. And then I'll fix this before committing. Copied in the right place. Not happy about it. Well, maybe that was my issue to begin with. Context. Ah, what? Well, did I do it uppercase or lowercase? No, they're lowercase. Okay. Take this out of here. Not getting an error anymore. I also don't have anything in the console. And expand this off screen here a little bit. Okay, so I can see in the network tab that I have the data. Go over here. All right, so the call worked. That's great. However, it's not showing up in my list. Okay. Let's go see if we can, let's see if we can figure that piece out. For libraries and libraries, we'll do Okay, so the trick now is figuring out, this is going to be another thing. Maybe it's context.env, but I'll make a comment and figure that out later. Because now what I want to do is figuring out, okay, so the return type should have been libraries. Maybe it's just not res.data, but just response. Data would assume. Let's see what we get here. Okay, we've got something. I have like 2 empty bullets now. Web development, y'all. So great. Okay. So let me go back over here. No, it is res.data. So that should give me two bullets. I'm just gonna put a non-fancy debugging here. What's my error? Okay. I am doing something wrong. I'm trying to figure out what it is. LIV4, library in libraries, key, library ID. That's what's getting returned to me. Okay. And this should be getting me an object. Let's think about this here. Return particle.list libraries. That makes the call. Then res.data. Console log that out. Hold on. Hold on just a second. So it's returning an object. It's fine. But in the meantime, console.log. See what I get here. What? Yes, I know. We got a whole lot of nothing here right now. So I know the call is working, but I am messing up something with Nuxt in my plugin. Got it pulled in plugins. Plugins particle. Particle equals new particle. Now this all seems to work because I'm actually getting something back in the network tab. Console is giving me data undefined. So I'm saying this is wrong console. Data body. Res.body.data. And I think that should work. And the console will give me something. Res.body.data. Remove this. Maybe, just maybe. Yeah. Now we are cooking with gas, as we like to say in the South. Okay. Silly debug business here. Get that out of there. I have a list of 5 official particle libraries showing up in a browser. Registry done. Ship it. Let me go back to my hard-coded token and not loving the secrets business here and change this to context.env and see if that actually helps. Now that we've got the rest of this working, I just know that I want to get my secret stuff correct, and then we can sort of move on. I can start to do some of this stuff in, let's see, did that work? Ah! I don't want to hard code secrets. I really don't. I'm doing something wrong. And I don't want to do it offline. Context. So this context is undefined. Okay, what am I doing? Wrong. I mean, do I need to, is this what I need to do? Does that have to be in? Okay. I mean, that shouldn't be required. Process.env. Access token was not found. Okay. I'll just do this at the top. It's going to rebuild, restart the whole thing again. And I am hopeful that this will work. Because like I said, I want to get my secrets nice and clean and not committed into source. Okay. Bum. No. Access token is not. I am flailing about here. So, like I said, this would suggest that you don't need it. I've added the module. well, and I have the .env file at the root of my project. Here it is, right here. Should not be an issue. Is the actual process from node is either neither available. Each of the properties is mapped. So do I need to do? All right. Hope y'all having fun watching me read docs. If this doesn't work, I'm going to come back to it later. And just going to come into my env. And I will do particle process env dot token and excuse me. Did not like that, right? Oh, well, it's because I need to format this config file correctly. It likes that. That's working okay. So let's try this again. Reload it. We'll see. Maybe this is the step that I am missing in order to make this happen. So it seems to have worked. We'll refresh now. Access token provided is invalid. So what does that mean? Wait, no. Try that. Try this again. Let's see if I've gotten any closer. We might be moving on here in a sec. Env particle token. Okay. So I can see actually now in the console I have a token of 1, 2, 3, 4, which means that my next config setting was correct. So I think I'm closer here to just figuring out how this works, but I think it's the kind of thing that's going to require me to do a little bit more reading and pondering. So I'm back to hard coding for now, and then I will fix it later. All right, so that should work now. We're not. Oh yeah, I have to take this piece out. Let's comment that out. Refresh. Oops. Okay. Refresh now. See what's going on. Okay. I'm back in business. Not super loving the hard coding, but y'all don't want to watch me flail about any more than I already have been. So I have some libraries. That's great. I'm going to change this to something a little bit more interesting. Let's do all libraries. It's the important thing here, right? We got libraries. We got info on individual libraries. So I'm going to look for we'll do a little bit more formatting on this. So we have libraries and ID. We know that we can get a little bit more information. So inside there's links and attributes. So I have the name inside of here. Name, the author, sentence. So let's actually take some of this info out and create a nice little listing, including the GitHub URL. So for each one of these, I want to use the library. Let's see, libraries, attributes, name. And then by author. Save that. There we go. And we have some more info on these fine people that created these libraries. Okay. Let's also, inside of the list item, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to create a anchor tag. I'm going to bind the link to target. Oh. We're going to bind the href2 library dot attributes what URL. See what happens there. Cannot read property attributes. All right, come on, Brandon. Been streaming for 90 minutes. Failed a bit. Got some things working. There we go. Okay. So it looks like I have a couple here. Internet button, asset tracker. So I can click on this to see. Sort of takes me to the GitHub repo for Particle Internet button. And some maker kit. Cool. And then I have one, the relay shield, I presume. That doesn't have that info. But I have the URLs for each of these, or for some of these, and I can pull them in. And then let's do this. I think it'd be kind of cool when you hover over this list item that would give you a little like, does Tachyons have a tooltip? Probably not. Grid. Components. Let's see here. Banners. Links, lists. Cards. Basic text card. I'm going to do this one as like a okay. Maybe a little bit heavier than what I'm looking for, so I won't mess with that one for now. We'll think about that one a little bit later. Quotes, tables, text. That's all right. We'll come back to that. So I think I'm just at a pretty decent stopping point for the day, with the exception of getting that token out. So I mentioned I was going to commit all this up to GitHub, share link and everything. I'm not going to do that until I figure out what's going on with getting the secrets out, making sure that that's all working properly. But the good news is I have a list. I have a set of libraries that are coming in. I'm going to clean this up a little bit, get all that into Vuex, and on Thursday we will continue, actually do some designing of some of this, start implementing some search functionality, and all that good stuff. So like I mentioned, I think this is a good point to sign off. Again, if you haven't already, please do throw me a follow if you're interested in seeing me turn myself over. Hold on, Dev Chatter host. I may have to actually continue for a few moments. I was actually just about to sign off myself, Brendan. But hello. So we have made some good progress today, actually getting this listing of libraries coming up here. Hello. How's it going? So like I mentioned earlier, I think the big thing is actually getting my secrets out of this application. But beyond that, I think our Vue.js app is starting to look pretty good. The next piece that I want to mess with to really clean this up is to get not only get the secrets out, but actually take this particle list libraries call and actually put that in a Vuex store. So I can hang on actually for a couple more minutes and I'll go ahead and do that right now. But hello everybody that came over from Dev Chatter, from Brendan's channel. Great to see y'all. Thanks for jumping in. I'm Brandon. I work for what is Vue.js? I like it. It's a JavaScript thing, Brendan. You know, you love it. It's good stuff. So I work for Particle by day. We are a Internet of Things platform company. A big part of what we do is actually building tools and services for working with IoT devices. And so what I've been messing with today is actually creating a registry for our Particle libraries so that you can actually view installing libraries for building an asset tracker, PowerShield, for using Particle Maker Kit, other things like that. So what I have right now inside of my index views, I have a plugin that actually pulls in the Particle JavaScript API and then an index view. And you'll see I have a token here that is going to be invalidated as soon as the stream is over. But I need to pull in some secrets from my .env files. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that in the context of Nuxt and Vue.js. So that'll be fixed probably after stream when my head is clear and I can think through such things. And then what I want to do now is actually just pull up Nuxt. So I'm actually going to create, not pull up Nuxt, actually pull up Vuex. I think it's pronounced Vuex. So I'm going to create an index.js file in the store directory. And inside of here, I'm just going to create a fake store. with my to hold my state. And this is just going to be a dummy list of libraries. I will pull in. Let's see, what am I expecting right now? I'm looking for an ID, URL, name, and author. So I'm going to pull in some dummy data from this. I'll just actually pull in one of these. Oh, I can't copy it. Boo. Copying. So I'm going to set my ID to 0. And specify some attributes. What are the attributes I'm looking for? URL, name, and author. Yep. It's one of those days. Foo.com. Name. And no. Author. Name of the library is the Foo library. Okay. So now that I have set up this store, what I am going to be doing, I'm going to be changing some things out from my index. So I'm going to be removing a lot of this stuff here in my script tag now. I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to copy it elsewhere. Give myself a little place to have it, so that I can pull it back in just a bit. There we go. Because what I'm going to do here now in my script in order to get Vuex in is I'm going to pull in the map state. Map state function. And if you've done anything with React in the past, Vuex is similar to Redux. It's actually pretty easy to use. And so I'm going to pull in maps. That's all I'm going to use is that map state function and export default and set in computed map state. And what am I pulling? That's going to be libraries. Great. Computed map state libraries. So so now what I need to do, let's see what's going on here in my HTML. Map state ID, so that should work. Can that read properly? State of undefined. I probably did something wrong here in my state libraries. Yeah, that looks good. Export const state. Libraries. ID 0 attributes URL author name. Well, boo. All right, let me see if I can. So I wanted to get this hard-coded first before I pulled the API stuff back in. So key library ID, pull map state from Vuex. Vuex is included by default, so I shouldn't actually have to pull it in. See what's going on in the terminal here. type error. Yep, same thing I'm getting here. In my store, add index, yeah. Well, that might be a good stopping point whether I want to be or not now at this point, because something is up. So ultimately, when this works, all you should need to do is inside of the store to define some sort of state object, pretty simple, and then specify some dummy data in this case, and then once I get that dummy data actually properly wired up, I'd be pulling it in here, doing a map state into my computed property, and then from there, just everything should work as designed before. So I'm going to figure this out off stream because it has been getting close to 2 hours now. So good time to reach a bit of a stop. But thank y'all for joining today. Again, we will pick this back up on Thursday and continue to do more of the same. So thanks for coming in, and I'll be on the stream for a little bit, so feel free to throw me any questions. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.